Welcome to Home Cooking with Holly. Today, we are making one of my family's favorites. We are making broccoli cheese soup. So, get ready for a warm, comforting, delicious soup. First, we're going to prep our vegetables. So, I have rinsed my broccoli, and I just have the broccoli heads here, not the stems. You could use the stems, but you would want to peel them so that they don't take so long to cook. I'm just using the heads. And here's what we're going to do. You want to chop your broccoli without cutting through the top. If you've ever done that, you'll notice these little teeny tiny bits of broccoli get everywhere, kind of like broccoli dust. We don't want that. We're still going to get some because it always happens, but we can minimize it if we cut our broccoli only in the stalk. So I just cut the stalk and I peel it apart, just like that. And just get them to the size pieces that you want. I'm using 2 little heads of broccoli here. And of course, always watch your fingers. Be very aware of where your fingers are at every moment because cuts happen. Cuts happen, burns happen. It's kind of inevitable in the kitchen, but we try to minimize it as much as we possibly can. Just going to toss this one in my garbage bowl. It's always good to have a garbage bowl with you just to help catch peels or like the skin on our onion we're going to throw in there. It just makes it nice and easy. You don't have to walk back and forth to the trash can. And if you have a compost bin, it's perfect to just carry right over to your compost bin. You can also use frozen broccoli if you want to, and buy broccoli already cut. So that's also an option. If you don't want to take the time to cut it yourself, you can buy it already cut up in a bag. They just have it in the produce section. All right, next, I'm going to peel our carrot right into the garbage bowl. You don't have to peel the carrot. There are a lot of vitamins in the skin on the carrot. You could just give it a really good scrub under the sink. I personally don't like the texture or flavor of the carrot skin, but if you do, that's totally fine. You could leave it on. Just make sure you wash it well and scrub it a bit. All right, now I'm going to cut off the ends into the garbage bowl. Okay, this type of soup, I like to actually peel my carrot. It calls for shredded carrot. But what I do is I take my vegetable peeler and my carrot and I just make strips. I get them all peeled. Just kind of pile them up together and take my knife. Still has broccoli, no problem. They're all going in the same pot. And you're going to use a rocking motion with your knife. See how I'm doing that? Just kind of rocking it back and forth. Holding it here just gives me a little more stability. You don't have to do that. Just whatever you get more comfortable with. Always, though, watch your fingers. Okay. I'm going to finish my carrot. And again, if you want to make this easier, you can buy shredded carrot already prepared in a bag in the produce section at your local grocery store. So you don't have to do this step either if you want to make this even a faster soup. Though usually the soup is done in about 30 minutes from start to finish. Okay, now I'm down to this stick that's hard to peel. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up the rest of this carrot that I've already peeled. Again, using that rocking motion makes it easier. What do we do with this little end? I just continue that rocking motion and chop it up into little bits. All right, it's going to work out perfectly. Now, 1 yellow onion. You can also use a white onion. You could use a red onion, though it's a little sweeter. I would recommend you either use a yellow or white onion for this dish. I'm going to cut off the ends. Those go into the garbage bowl. And then we're going to make a slit along the side. Watch your hands. And just peel out off that outer layer of onion, because we don't need that skin. A little bit of skin on here. I'm just going to slide it off with my fingers, pop it into the garbage bowl, wipe my hands off. Okay, now for the onion, I like to do a small dice for this soup. You could slice it. You could do a larger dice if you like bigger chunks of onion. It's up to you. But how I usually do it is I will cut the onion in half, and then I'll cut each half in half, but lengthwise. Okay? And then I'm going to just come around here and make side slices. And once again, guess what? You can buy these already diced up at the grocery store if you want to. Watch your fingers. There are tools you can buy that have little hooks on them that actually will hold the onion for you while you cut. And I'm just going to kind of get them together, piled up again, and do that rocking motion. That rocking motion is your friend when you are dicing up vegetables. Don't worry if it's perfect. We're not going for perfect. We're going for delicious. We are home cooks. We are not professional chefs. No one's grading us on the exact size of our dice, okay? Back of the knife again to scrape. Never use the blade. You can also use a kitchen scraper if you want to. And again, I'm slicing that onion down the lengthwise and then making cuts. Piling them all together and rocking my knife. It is time to move on to starting the soup. It's best to use a large pot. This is a heavy cast iron pot. I'm just going to melt a 1/4 cup of butter, which is 4 tablespoons, in this pot. And I'm over a medium heat at the moment. Just going to let that melt, and then we're going to sweat our onions out. We sweat our onions out so that they're softer and have a nicer texture, and also it brings the sweetness in the onion out. And give it a little help. Ooh, it's almost ready. Starting to sizzle. And I'm using a wooden spoon. Wooden spoons don't conduct heat, so it's not going to get hot to the touch. And if I forget about it and leave it in the pan, there's no risk of it melting. So I love to use a wooden spoon for soups and sauces. Now we're going to add our onion. Now that our butter's melted, start sweating those onions out. Don't worry if you get a little carrot in there, it's going to go in next anyway. We're just going to saute these for about 3-4 minutes, just to soften them up. They'll start to turn a bit translucent. And just giving them a stir every once in a while. I wish you could smell this. All right, now that our onions have softened, they're getting light golden. The butter's helping with the color, and also a bit translucent. We're going to add in our garlic. Now you want to use 2 to 3 cloves of garlic minced up. You can buy already minced garlic. I like to do that. Don't feel like you're cheating? It works. It's fine. I also like to add a ton of garlic. So I use a lot more than 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. But that's the way we like it. Use as much or as little garlic as you like, but make sure you put some in there. And now we're just going to saute that for another minute. Ooh, now it smells even better. I love the smell of garlic and onions sauteing in a pan. Okay, now we're going to add some seasonings in. And we just want about a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. I'm using a much bigger measuring spoon here, but I'm not going to fill it. I like to eyeball things. If you're not comfortable doing that, please measure everything out. And we want about a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And here's my salt cellar. We also need a teaspoon of salt. Now I'm using kosher salt. You can also use sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. You can use that. You can also use, I'm gonna put a little extra because I know what we like. You can also use regular iodized table salt. Just gonna stir that around a little. Ooh, look at that color. The paprika gives it a little bit of heat, not in a spicy way. I mean, I hate to say heat, because this is not a spicy soup at all, but it also gives it amazing color. And now we're going to add about 4 tablespoons of flour. I'm just using all-purpose flour. And we're going to make a roux. That one was a bit light. Put a little bit more in there. All right, and now we're going to switch to a whisk to make our roux and stir the flour in. Just whisk it in. Now the point of a roux is that it will thicken a soup or a sauce. And you just want to cook it till it gets golden in color, which this already is from the seasonings that we've added. So I'm going to give it probably about 3-4 minutes, like we did with the onion. The longer you cook a roux, the more depth of flavor it will give to your soup as well. Oh, it's looking good. Getting chunky. That's what we want. We want our roux to be chunky and dark. Okay, now we're going to add in chicken broth. And you can do this a few different ways. You can buy canned chicken broth, or you can buy chicken broth that's in a carton, or you can use bouillon cubes or bouillon. And I'm adding between 3 and 4 cups. Now for the bouillon, I just use regular bouillon, and you just want to measure it out. 1.5 teaspoons is equal to 1 cup of chicken broth. So I'm going to use about 6. Now I'm going to go back to my spoon, stir that in. I'm going to turn my heat up to a medium high. Now I know this doesn't look like a lot of liquid for a soup, but stay with me. We're not actually done. So we're going to add in our broccoli, and I've got about 6 to 7 cups here from those 2 crowns. And we're going to add in our shredded carrot. May as well put in our little broccoli dust too. Doesn't hurt anything. More flavor, more broccoli. We're going to stir that around. And we want this to come up to a boil. Again, you're probably thinking, Holly, that is not enough liquid for a soup. I know. I promise you, I'm going to be adding more liquid. All right, I can hear it starting to come up to a boil. Just going to give it a little stir. Once it's boiling, I'm going to lower my heat and put a lid on it. Steam is also our friend here. We want the steam to help us cook that broccoli. If you don't like chicken broth, I do want to mention that you can also use vegetable broth. That's completely fine. This can be a completely vegetarian dish if you want it to. All right, now we've reached our boil. I'm going to give it another stir. And now I'm going to turn our heat down to about a medium-low. And I'm going to pop my lid on and set my timer for 15 minutes. And we are going to stir it occasionally. We don't want it to stick to the bottom. All right, it's been about 7 minutes. We're going to give our soup a stir. It is simmering rapidly here. I might even turn it down just a little bit more. So, halfway there. This soup doesn't take long. This whole meal can be done in 30 minutes. Okay, our 15 minutes are done. I'm going to remove that lid. Remember, it's very hot. Let the steam drip back in. Set that off to the side. Okay. Ooh, looks really good. Really, really good. Now, here's where we're going to make it creamy. We're going to add in 2 cups of half and half. You can use milk. You can use heavy cream. I find half and half, though, gives the soup the best texture. So I'm going to pour that right in. We're on a low setting on our stove. And I'm going to stir in 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. Give that a nice stir. Okay, we're going to put the lid back on and just let that cook for about a minute. Just to let that cheese melt and have all the flavors incorporate. All right, our soup is done. Taking off that lid. Remember to hold the lid for a second just to get those drips off. It's just the steam. And I'm going to switch to a ladle and give it a stir. Ooh, it is creamy. It smells heavenly. We're going to serve up the bowl. Got a nice big bowl here. Scoop in some of the soup. Oh, it looks so good. It smells incredible. It's creamy, cheesy. The broccoli's tender. It's very comforting. I can't wait to dive into this entire bowl. I hope you'll try this soup. Please let me know if you do and how you serve it. If you use a bread bowl, some crusty bread, or serve it alongside something. I hope that you will make it and let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Please like and subscribe for more recipes and cooking tips.